Welcome, everyone, and welcome to the Five Forms of Divination. I'm your host, James P. Madonna. Want to thank um, Mr. Uh, Ronnie Simpson for joining me last night for a fantastic open topic talk, progressive discussions talk show. Open topic talk. We had a great show last night for Uncensored Saturday, and I just want to thank him for participating in that. Let's see. Wonder what. Let me check something here. Um, oh, there we go. I will now bring on my my co-host, the one and only, the mystifying Oracle, who will conduct the five forms of divination. All right, let me bring the mystifying Oracle up. She is waiting in the green room in the back. Where is she? Mystifying Oracle. Okay. Greetings and good mystifying Oracle. Welcome to my live stream show. Are you ready to perform? Are you ready to conduct the five forms of divination for the United States of America?
Yes, I am ready to conduct all five forms of divination for the United States of America in the mystifying Oracle format. When you are ready, give the signal to begin, or specify if you want the reading focused on a particular time frame or national theme.
Well, this time frame for the United States is for February 2026, because it is February the 1st right now. It's Sunday, February the 1st, 2026. So this is for the month of 2026 for the United States as a country. And of course, you know the birth date of the United States and all the details concerning that. So I'm going to start with tarot card. Well, you're going to begin with the tarot card reading. I have 10 cards selected after pre-shuffling the tarot deck, and you'll give the detailed interpretation based on tradition and history, of each card, and then you'll interconnect each card with the card before and after it, and then form a complete storyline at the end, combining all 10 cards. And then after the tarot card reading, you will do an astrological forecast and for the new month, and then after that, you'll do numerology for the new.
Understood. Proceeding now in the established mystifying oracle format with no sugarcoating. We begin with tarot, 10 cards, read sequentially as a single national narrative for the United States in February 2026. This is a collective reading anchored to the U.S. natal chart of July 4th, 1776, Philadelphia. I will announce each card, give its traditional and historical meaning, then explicitly link it to the card before and after it. At the end, I will synthesize all 10 into one coherent storyline for the month. Card 1, the Tower. The Tower is collapse through revelation.
Hold on.
Historically, it represents systems built on false premises.
Mystifying Oracle. I have them pre-selected.
Understood. I am ready. Announce the first card when you are ready, and I will begin the interpretation as you call them out one by one in sequence.
Okay. The first card.
Proceed. Announce the first card.
Hold on, one moment, please.
Acknowledged. I will remain on standby.
We have the 9 of Cups.
Nine of Cups. At face value, this is satisfaction, comfort, and wish fulfillment. For the United States, it signals surface level confidence and indulgence. The country is telling itself that things are fine, that prosperity and stability still exist. But beneath that, this card warns of complacency, enjoyment without responsibility, celebration while structural problems are ignored. Elites and institutions are emotionally satisfied, even as the foundation underneath them weakens. In this position, the 9 of Cups is not true contentment. It is self-congratulation. A nation pleased with its image, not its reality. Announce the next card when ready.
The second card is the Page of Cups.
Page of Cups. This introduces emotional immaturity and naive messaging. For the United States, it points to childlike narratives being pushed to the public. Soft language, sentimental appeals, and feel-good promises that lack substance. There is also confusion between compassion and competence. Leaders and institutions may appear empathetic or in touch, but they lack depth, experience, or follow-through. Policy is driven by emotion and optics rather than discipline and foresight. Combined with the 9 of Cups, this shows a nation indulging in comforting stories while avoiding hard emotional truths. A fragile optimism easily shattered.
All right. The third card is...
Go ahead. What's the third card?
The 2 of Wands.
2 of Wands. This card is about planning, strategy, and looking borders. For the United States, it suggests ambitions and intentions that are grand in theory, but not yet fully realized. There's awareness of opportunities, but also hesitation. Decisions are delayed and follow-through is uncertain. Paired with the first 2 cards, it signals a nation dreaming big while emotionally ungrounded, indulging in comfort and sentimentality, yet trying to project influence or expansion without solid preparation. There's vision, but it's still largely theoretical.
Okay, the fourth card is strength, I believe, the one with the lion.
Go ahead. What's the fourth card?
It says, well, in French, it says la force. I guess that means strength, the strength card.
Strength. This card represents courage, patience, and mastery over impulses. For the United States, it suggests that real power lies not in force or bluster, but in disciplined restraint and controlled action. It points to the need for endurance in the face of challenges, as well as the moral strength to confront internal weaknesses. In context with the cards, it's a counterbalance. While the nation indulges in comfort, sentiment, and ambitious planning, there is also potential for genuine resilience if it can temper its excesses and act with awareness rather than impulse. Announce the fifth card.
The Emperor.
The Emperor. This is authority, structure, and rigid control. For the United States, it signals entrenched institutions, hierarchies, and the enforcement of order, both politically and socially. It can indicate stability, but also inflexibility, bureaucratic rigidity, and resistance to change. In combination with the previous cards, it paints a picture of a nation caught between indulgent optimism, emotional naivety, and ambitious planning, yet still held tightly by established power. There's potential for disciplined action, but also a risk that authority suppresses necessary adaptation.
Seven of Pentacles.
Seven of Pentacles. This card reflects assessment, patience, and delayed results. For the United States, it signals a period of waiting, evaluating past efforts, investments, and policies, while judging whether they are bearing fruit. There's a sense of frustration or uncertainty about whether hard work is truly paying off. Combined with the earlier cards, it reinforces the tension between ambition and indulgence, a country enjoying its comforts and projecting influence, yet pausing to reflect on whether its strategies are sustainable. There's potential growth, but it requires disciplined patience and honest evaluation.
Nine of Wands.
Nine of Wands. This card represents resilience, persistence, and defense after struggle. For the United States, it indicates a nation weary from ongoing challenges, political, social, and economic, but determined to hold its ground. There's vigilance and caution, a sense of being battle-worn, yet unwilling to give up. In the context of the previous cards, it underscores a hard truth. Beneath the surface comfort and optimistic planning, the country is exhausted, defending its position and bracing for continued conflict. Strength and endurance are crucial, but fatigue is real and persistent.
Temperance.
Temperance. This card is about balance, moderation, and synthesis. For the United States, it signals the need to reconcile extremes: emotional indulgence versus disciplined authority, ambition versus patience, and internal fatigue versus resilience. It's a call to integrate opposing forces and act with measured wisdom. Placed after the Nine of Wands, it suggests that the nation's survival and effectiveness depend on careful moderation, balancing defense with diplomacy, restraint with action, and planning with realistic expectations.
Seven of Cups.
Seven of Cups. This card represents illusions, choices, and tempting distractions. For the United States, it signals confusion and the lure of unrealistic options, visions of power, prosperity, or solutions that may not be grounded in reality. There's a tendency to chase fantasies rather than make clear, practical decisions. In context with the previous cards, it reinforces a recurring theme. The nation is caught between indulgence, ambition, and vigilance, yet at risk of being distracted by appealing but illusory paths. Clarity and discernment are critical to avoid missteps.
Okay, the last and 10th card is the Queen of Cups.
Queen of Cups. This card embodies emotional intelligence, compassion, and intuitive guidance. For the United States, it signals the potential for empathetic leadership and a deeper awareness of the nation's emotional and social currents. There is the capacity to nurture, heal, and make decisions informed by insight rather than impulse. Placed as the final card, it suggests that after indulgence, ambition, fatigue, and confusion, the path forward requires emotional maturity and intuitive balance. The nation's success depends not on authority alone, nor on ambition or illusion, but on understanding, empathy, and thoughtful guidance. Would you like me to now weave all 10 cards together into a single integrated reading for the United States?
Yes, please do.
Here's the integrated reading. The spread paints a complex picture of the United States. It begins with the Nine of Cups and Page of Cups, showing a nation indulging in comfort, self-congratulation, and emotionally naive narratives. Surface-level optimism masking deeper issues. The Two of Wands shows ambition and long-term planning, but the foundation is shaky, driven more by vision than grounded strategy. Strength and the Emperor reveal both potential and limitation. The country has the capacity for disciplined courage and resilience, yet is constrained by rigid structures and entrenched authority. Progress and action are possible, but only if restraint and foresight guide them. The Seven of Pentacles and Nine of Wands highlight evaluation, patience, and endurance. The nation is assessing the fruits of past efforts while defending itself from ongoing struggles, fatigued but determined to persevere. Temperance urges moderation and balance, showing that survival and success demand integration of opposing forces. Ambition with realism, indulgence with discipline, vigilance with diplomacy. Yet the Seven of Cups warns of distraction, illusions, and temptation, signaling that enticing but unrealistic options could mislead decision-making. Finally, the Queen of Cups offers the solution: emotional maturity, intuition, and empathy. True progress for the nation comes not through indulgence, authority, or chasing fantasies, but through careful, compassionate guidance, acting with wisdom that balances heart and mind. Taken together, the cards describe a nation at a crossroads, weary and challenged, yet capable of resilience and visionary action, if it can temper illusions, integrate its strengths, and lead with both insight and empathy. If you want, I can also overlay this with the astrology and I Ching elements to see how these themes are reinforced or contrasted across all 5 divinations.
Okay, next, I would like you to do an astrological forecast for the United States for the upcoming month of February 2026. And then after astrology, you'll do numerology, and then I Ching, and last, Chinese astrology. So now do the Western astrological forecast.
Understood. Let's begin with Western astrology for the United States in February 2026. The U.S. Sun in Cancer remains in the 10th house of national authority and public image, highlighting issues around leadership, reputation, and institutional accountability. Mercury in Aquarius continues in the 5th house, emphasizing communication around innovation, technology, and media. Expect debates, ideological clashes, and social narratives to dominate headlines. Mars in Scorpio is activating the 4th house of internal security and domestic foundations, indicating tension over internal conflicts, defense policies, and social stability. It may provoke power struggles or aggressive maneuvering behind the scenes. Jupiter in Pisces encourages long-term vision and foreign relations, but its idealistic energy can clash with Mars' intensity, creating overreach or misjudged ventures abroad. Venus in Capricorn is influencing the 2nd house of national resources and finances, signaling scrutiny on budgeting, debt, and economic policies. practicality is needed, as indulgence or superficial fixes could worsen underlying issues. Saturn in Pisces urges caution, reform, and structural reflection, especially in social programs, international commitments, and ethical governance. Overall, February 2026 is a month of tension between image and substance, ambition and restraint. The US will face pressure to act decisively while balancing domestic stability and international optics. Strategic patience, disciplined planning, and careful communication will be crucial to avoid overextension or internal fracture. Do you want me to move directly into numerology next?
Can you go deeper into the astrological forecast for the United States involving the economy, the job market, foreign affairs, and the Constitution being threatened?
Looking deeper into February 2026, the astrology suggests some serious stress points. Economically, Venus in Capricorn in the second house signals pressure on national finances and resources. Budget scrutiny, debt concerns, and inflationary risks could intensify, and there may be public dissatisfaction with how money is managed. The job market could feel uneven. Mercury in Aquarius encourages innovation and tech growth, but Mars in Scorpio in the fourth house warns of internal disruption, layoffs, or instability in certain sectors. In foreign affairs, Jupiter in Pisces encourages outreach and diplomacy, but paired with Mars intensity, there's a risk of overextension or conflicts arising from miscalculated moves abroad. Tension could flare with allies or rivals if ambition outruns strategy. Regarding the Constitution, Saturn in Pisces warns of legal and structural pressure. Challenges to civil liberties, executive overreach, or legislative gridlock may become visible. The US could face constitutional tests or political maneuvering that strain foundational checks and balances, especially under the stress of internal and external pressures. Overall, February presents a combination of financial scrutiny, social tension, and potential legal or constitutional challenges, requiring disciplined management and strategic restraint to avoid escalation.
Okay, that sounds good. Now it is time for you to do the numerology forecast for the United States for February 2026.
For February 2026, numerology places the entire month in a broader universal year 1 cycle, meaning the year reduces to 1. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. This year carries themes of new beginnings, leadership, initiative, and fresh cycles. When applied to the United States as a whole, this suggests a period of resetting priorities, launching new agendas, or redefining national identity and direction. Within that year, February specifically reduces to a universal month 3. Universal year 1 plus month 2 gives 1 plus 2 equals 3. The number 3 emphasizes communication, expression, visibility, and social momentum. Numerologists see this as a time when ideas move from conceptual planning into the realm of public discourse, debate, and storytelling. Conversations, whether in media, politics, or policy, will carry weight and influence key decisions. Applied to the United States in February 2026, economy and job market. The numerology energy favors talk, negotiation, and publicity around economic issues rather than quiet technical fixes. Public debate about budgets, employment initiatives, and fiscal policy could intensify. Numbers speak to communication driving perception, so job market narratives, hiring statistics, corporate leadership decisions, or workforce policy may dominate discourse and influence confidence levels. Foreign affairs. With 3's expressive energy, international relations are likely to be shaped by diplomacy, announcements, and public messaging. Diplomacy and negotiation take center stage. Unexpected agreements or strategic rhetorical moves could redefine alliances or tensions. However, because 3 energy can also scatter or distract, clarity of intent will be crucial. Constitutional and institutional tension. The 3 energy encourages public discussion of norms and rights. Numerology suggests that constitutional debates and challenges will be loud and prominent, with issues being aired broadly in public forums. This could amplify debates about civil liberties, separation of powers, or institutional reforms, forging clear positions through communication rather than quiet adjudication. Underlying theme: the 3 vibration is not inherently stable. It pushes for creative expression, messaging, and visibility. That makes February a month where what is said, how it is framed, and how public sentiment responds will significantly shape outcomes across policy, economics, and governance, rather than behind-the-scenes maneuvering.
Okay, sounds good. Now it's time to do the ancient Chinese divination of I Ching. I will toss 3 Chinese feng shui coins 6 times to form each line of the hexagram grid. And then you will do a forecast based on the 6 lines of the hexagram
Perfect.
grid.
Go ahead and toss the coins for the first line and tell me the result for me to record the hexagram.
Two yin and one yang.
Understood. That gives a changing yin line, since 2 yin and 1 yang is a moving line. This will be the bottom line of the hexagram. Go ahead with the second line.
Three yin.
3 yin is a static yin line. That will be the second line of the hexagram.
Three yin.
Third line is also a static yin line. Recorded. Go ahead with the fourth line. I think you might have misspoken there. Were you about to give me the result of the 4th I Ching coin toss?
One moment, please.
Acknowledged. I'll wait for the 4th line.
1 yang, 2 yin.
1 yang and 2 yin is a changing yin line. That will be the 4th line of your hexagram.
Three yang.
3 yang is a static yang line. That will be the 5th line of your hexagram.
The final and 6th line of the hexagram grid is 3 yang.
Excellent. The 6th line is static yang, completing your hexagram. Your primary hexagram reads from bottom to top, changing yin, static yin, changing yin, static yang, static yang. I can now interpret the full I Ching reading for the United States for February 2026, including the implications of the changing lines. Do you want me to do that?
Yes, of course.
Here's the I Ching reading for the United States in February 2026. Your hexagram forms hexagram 23, splitting apart, bow, as the primary hexagram, with changing lines on the first and fourth positions. The resulting hexagram after the changes is hexagram 42, increase. Ye. Primary hexagram, splitting apart. This signals a period of structural erosion, internal weakness, or disintegration. For the US, it reflects pressure on institutions, authority, and social cohesion. Foundations that once seemed stable are being tested. There may be public dissatisfaction, political polarization, or systemic cracks that cannot be ignored. Vigilance is required, as attempts to resist these forces without clear strategy may fail. Changing lines. Line 1, bottom line, changing yin, indicates vulnerability at the grassroots level. Early warning signs of problems may appear quietly: local unrest, economic strain in communities, or subtle legal challenges. This line warns against ignoring small issues before they escalate. Line 4, middle changing yin, signals internal tension at higher levels. Administration, governance, or policymaking. Mismanagement or overreach could deepen fractures. It's a caution that authority must act with prudence, or opposition and criticism will intensify. Resulting hexagram, increase. After the changes, the energy shifts toward growth, improvement, and strategic opportunity. Despite the internal erosion, there is a potential for rebuilding, reform, and advantage if the nation carefully nurtures what is constructive and eliminates what is weakening. Alliances, resources, and policies that are aligned with long-term stability can create tangible benefit. Summary for February 2026. The U.S. faces structural and internal stress, with vulnerabilities at both the grassroots and leadership levels. If mismanaged, these pressures could deepen fractures, but careful, strategic action can turn challenges into opportunities for growth, improvement, and renewal. The reading emphasizes awareness, patience, and discernment. If you want, we can now move to Chinese astrology to complete the five-fold divination for February 2026. Do you want me to continue?
Yes, of course. And after you finish with Chinese astrology, I want you to combine all five divinations to see if there is any similarities of the five forms and piece them together if possible. Continue.
Understood. Let's proceed with Chinese astrology for the United States in February 2026. In the Chinese lunar calendar, February 2026 falls mostly in the year of the wood horse and the month of the metal tiger. The US natal chart by Chinese astrology, established as Yang fire horse year, Yang earth dog month, etc., shows interaction between its elemental constitution and the current year month influences. The wood horse year brings rapid movement, ambition, and a push for change. It favors expansion, new initiatives, and assertive action, but also carries risks of overreach, impatience, and instability. Wood fuels fire, so the national energy is charged and visible. Public actions, political campaigns, and economic initiatives are bold, but can ignite tension if not managed carefully. The metal tiger month emphasizes conflict, assertiveness, and strategic maneuvering. Metal counters wood to some degree, meaning authority and structural forces will resist certain changes or ambitions. Expect legal challenges, bureaucratic pushback, or clashes between institutions and reformist initiatives. There is also a spotlight on leadership. Integrity and decisiveness will be tested. Overall auspices for February. The combination of wood horse and metal tiger signals a month of high energy, visible action, and accelerated decision-making, but also structural friction and potential volatility. The nation's efforts to grow, innovate, or assert influence must be tempered with discipline, strategic patience, and attention to foundational stability. Failure to respect institutional limits or social cohesion could intensify internal strain. Now, integrating all five divinations for February 2026. Across tarot, Western astrology, numerology, I Ching, and Chinese astrology, several consistent themes emerge. There is a tension between ambition and foundation. Tarot's Two of Wands and Nine of Wands, astrology's Mars in Scorpio and Venus in Capricorn, I Ching's splitting apart, and the wood horse energy all point to bold initiatives facing structural challenges. There is also a warning against distraction or indulgence. Tarot's Seven of Cups, Nine of Cups, and Page of Cups reflect emotional naivety or illusions. Numerology's 3 emphasizes public messaging that can scatter attention. I Ching indicates internal vulnerabilities, and the Metal Tiger month signals confrontations or resistance to impulsive moves. Another common thread is potential for disciplined growth if wisely managed. Tarot's Strength, Temperance, and Queen of Cups, I Ching's resulting increase hexagram, Western astrology's Saturn in Pisces, and numerology's year 1 themes all encourage patience, moderation, and strategic action. The U.S. can turn challenges into opportunities through careful leadership, empathy, and practical reforms. In short, February 2026 is a month of tension, visibility, and decision-making under stress. The nation faces structural and constitutional tests, economic scrutiny, and foreign pressures. Yet all divinations converge on the possibility of resilience, measured action, and growth, if ambition is tempered by awareness, clarity, and disciplined execution. If you want, I can now produce a cohesive, narrative-style forecast for your live stream show that ties all 5 divinations together in a single, dramatic, actionable presentation.
Yes, please do that. And also consider that our country is in crisis, the United States, and the U.S. Constitution is threatened by fascism, by right-wing extremist fascism. All right, do what you said you wanted to do. Continue.
Understood. Here's the integrated, hard-hitting forecast for the United States for February 2026, weaving all 5 divinations together into a cohesive narrative suitable for your live stream. The United States enters February 2026 at a critical junction, teetering between ambition and decay, action and collapse. The tarot opens the picture. The 9 of Cups and Page of Cups reveal a nation indulging in comforting illusions, self-congratulation, and naive narratives, while the 2 of Wands, Strength, and the Emperor expose ambitions, structural rigidity, and the potential for disciplined resilience. Yet beneath the surface, the 7 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands, and 7 of Cups warn of fatigue, vigilance, and dangerous distractions. Emotional maturity, the Queen of Cups, is the nation's only hope of steering through these pressures with wisdom and empathy. Astrology mirrors these tensions. Venus in Capricorn scrutinizes national finances. Mars in Scorpio signals internal and domestic conflict, and Saturn in Pisces highlights structural stress. Economic strain, job instability, and legal challenges loom large, while foreign policy ambitions risk miscalculation. The astrology is clear. Decisive, disciplined action is required, or the cracks will widen. Numerology confirms the volatility of communication and public perception. February's 3 vibration amplifies discourse, debate, and the power of messaging, meaning illusions and distractions can dominate unless clarity prevails. Public narratives will shape national confidence and reaction, and mismanagement of perception could deepen societal fracture. The I Ching delivers a stark warning. Hexagram 23, splitting apart, describes structural erosion, grassroots vulnerability, and internal conflict. Early warnings are present, but authority may mishandle them. Only by heeding the caution in the changing lines can the nation progress toward Hexagram 42, increase, where careful strategy and deliberate reform turn crisis into opportunity. Chinese astrology underscores a high-energy, volatile month. The Wood Horse year fuels ambition, rapid action, and visible initiatives. But the Metal Tiger month injects friction, resistance, and potential conflict with institutions and structures. Leadership is under scrutiny, and overreach could provoke backlash or exacerbate the internal crisis. Across all 5 divinations, the message is consistent and alarming. The United States faces structural, economic, and constitutional stress, amplified by internal polarization and the threat of right-wing extremist fascism undermining the Constitution. The nation risks losing its moral and legal grounding if illusions, distraction, or complacency persist. Yet there is a path forward. Disciplined courage, measured action, and empathetic leadership. Strategic patience, careful planning, and clarity of communication can transform the pressure into a chance for renewal. The crisis will not resolve itself, and failure to act decisively and wisely could accelerate decay. Survival and recovery are possible, but only through awareness, unity, and courage against forces seeking to dismantle the nation's democratic foundation. February 2026 is a month where every decision, every policy, and every message matters. Complacency, indulgence, or ideological extremism will deepen fracture. Leadership, resilience, and moral clarity are the only shields against the forces threatening to split the nation apart. If you want, I can also produce a shorter, punchier version of this forecast, specifically tailored for your live stream delivery, designed to hit hard and keep viewers riveted while emphasizing urgency and accountability.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Here's a condensed, hard-hitting version for live stream delivery. February 2026 is a critical, high-stakes month for the United States. The nation is showing cracks in its foundations: structural, economic, and constitutional. Surface confidence and comforting narratives are masking fatigue, division, and dangerous distractions. Ambition is high, but so are risks. Overreach, mismanagement, and internal conflict could accelerate collapse. The Constitution itself is under pressure from right-wing extremist forces, threatening the democratic framework. Economic scrutiny, job instability, and political polarization will dominate, while foreign ambitions risk miscalculation. Public perception and messaging are powerful this month. Missteps here could magnify instability, yet there is a path forward. Disciplined courage, measured action, and empathetic leadership are the nation's only shields. Clarity, patience, and moral vigilance can transform crisis into opportunity, but failure to act decisively could deepen fracture and erosion. February demands awareness, accountability, and courage. Every decision matters. Every voice matters. Complacency or indulgence will only empower those seeking to dismantle the nation's foundations. This is a time for strategic action, unity, and moral clarity. The survival and renewal of the United States depend on it. If you want, I can also layer in short one-liners from each divination to punctuate this live stream version, so you can call out tarot, astrology, numerology, I Ching, and Chinese astrology in a punchy, dramatic rhythm. That usually keeps viewers engaged while hitting the key warnings and solutions.
All right, do that, and then we'll close out the show. That'll be the end. All right.
Perfect. Here's a live stream ready, punchy version with one-liners from each divination to hit hard and keep viewers engaged. Tarot. The nation indulges in comforting illusions, yet fatigue, vigilance, and ambition are mounting. Emotional maturity is the only hope. Western astrology. Economic pressure, domestic tension, and political friction dominate. Strategic patience and disciplined action are crucial. Numerology. Public discourse, messaging, and perception will shape the nation's confidence. Clarity versus distraction is everything. I Ching. Structural cracks are visible. Splitting apart warns of erosion, but increase shows that careful, deliberate action can turn crisis into growth. Chinese astrology. High energy ambition meets friction and resistance. Leadership is under scrutiny, and overreach will provoke backlash. Conclusion, call to action. February 2026 is a month of truth, courage, and accountability. The Constitution is threatened, complacency is dangerous, and every decision matters. Only disciplined, empathetic, and morally clear leadership can guide the nation through this storm. Survival and renewal are possible, but the time to act is now. If you want, I can also draft a very brief 1-minute closing line to deliver at the end of your show that leaves a punchy, urgent impact for your viewers. Do you want me to do that?
Okay, let that be the last. Go ahead.
Here's a powerful 1-minute closing line for your live stream. America is at a crossroads. The Constitution is under threat, the nation is fatigued, and illusions are everywhere. February demands clarity, courage, and action. Complacency will accelerate collapse, but disciplined, empathetic, and morally grounded leadership can turn crisis into opportunity. Every decision, every voice, active accountability matters. Time to act is now. There is no room for hesitation. That delivers a sharp, urgent conclusion that reinforces the stakes and leaves the audience focused on responsibility and awareness.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Fine Oracle, for an outstanding job as always. And until I call upon you again on one of my live stream shows, take care and we will keep in touch. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll call upon me again.
Okay. Thank you, all of you viewers, for tuning in to the monthly show that I'm starting to do again, the five forms of divination for the United States, unless a friend steps forward that wants their personal uh, forecast done for them. But that's it. The next show would be, of course, for the month of March 2026. Okay, so take care, everyone. It is the first of the month. It is Sunday. Tomorrow is the most unpopular day of the week for people that work in the office. It's not a popular day if you work in the office. So please have a pleasant week. Hopefully tomorrow won't be too stressful for you people that do work in the office. So have a good night. Bye bye, everybody.